Hello, good people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. Yesterday, the president, in his 61st independent anniversary speech, talked about dealing with those who are out to disintegrate the country, the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, the likes of Nnamdi Kanu, who are currently at large. That Nnamdi Kanu is far away in Benin, and while Nnamdi Kanu is in the custody of DSS. But, after that, what we saw was campaign and a protest here in Abuja. Everywhere, reactions have been so terrible from the politicians and all of that. Now, Arewa Consultative Forum seems to be standing with the president, and you get to hear their reasons. It's best you listen to this till the end so that you get to hear their reasons and also look at our viewpoints with which we are going to take off with the discussions. But before we give you all of that, we'd like to encourage you to please subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button and also on the bell icon so that we get notification anytime we publish our video. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF, has said those agitating for Nigerian disintegration should be decisively dealt with. Yerima Shetima, the national president of AYCF, made the remarks while backing President Muhammadu Buhari's decision to deal with agitators like Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, and Sunday Igboho. Buhari had issued the threat during his speech to mark Nigeria's 61st Independent Day's anniversary. The president has vowed to go after violent agitators like Kanu and Igboho who threaten the corporate existence of Nigeria. However, speaking on an interview, Shetima said those whose agitators are endangering the lives of Nigerians should be dealt with in line with Buhari's directive. He described Kanu as a blind man who is leading IPOB into a death trap. Faulting the approach of IPOB, Shetima pointed out that the movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra MASOB go about their agitation peacefully without endangering the lives of Nigerians. According to Shetima, all of us are victims of the society today in one way or the other. So if something goes wrong, you don't have to behave abnormally. When you look at the situation on ground and think the only way out is to become violent at the expense of people's life, then such agitation is not worth it. Yes, certain things went wrong, and we also in northern part of the country have suffered the same problem. In fact, we have even suffered more than where the agitation is coming from. Can the situation today in the northwest or northeast be compared to the realities in the southwest and southeast? The answer is no. For over 2 decades now, we have been suffering from one trouble to another, from poverty to marginalization to deprivation and so on. Even at that, we never deem it necessary to take up arms against the state. So, no matter how you look at it, their approaches are wrong. Don't we have other groups agitating like MASOB? Do you see MASOB endangering the lives of innocent citizens of the southeast? The answer is no. Was it not from MASOB IPOB broke out and is led by that blind man who puts the life of people in danger? MASOB goes about their demands, which are very genuine by their thinking and feeling. MASOB has said she really believes that the southeast is being marginalized, and if Nigeria can address some of these injustices meted on them, they are willing to come back and build a nation. However, the IPOB approach by this leader who is leading them to dead zone is wrong, and two wrongs cannot make a right. Looking at this situation, you can't solve problem with problems. We have faith in the country despite the shortcomings. We believe some days we will turn things around instead of balkanizing the country in the name of agitation. Most of those agitators are young elements who should come together and build a synergy within themselves that would fight against those oppressing them. Anybody found disobeying the law of the land should be dealt with decisively. Nobody is above the law. If you balkanize the country, where will you go to? You can't be an American citizen. You will still remain a Nigerian. If you balkanize here, where will you run to? You are a refugee anywhere you run to. We suffered during the wars and we can't go back there. If there is a way we can amend what happened in the past to ensure that the war never happened, we would have done that. It has happened, and all we need now is to forgive ourselves and move forward. We can't continue to reflect on that and expect to make progress. Everybody suffer for that. So is that where they want us to return to now that there is armed proliferations? We can't survive a second war. So Nigerians must learn to stay together. We can't agitate without endangering the lives. We can agitate without endangering the lives of anybody. The statement coming from the president shows he's a leader, and the people should know that we are not in Banana Republic. I am not an advocate of the president, neither am I in the government, but a victim of a society, and I lead a group of people who are already victims. Wow. Wow, this is a serious issue that we need to really sit down objectively and look into it. Now, the first thing I want to say here, before I consider some of the responses of Nigerians, the first thing I want to say is that Nigeria is a multilingual and a multi-ethnic country. So people think differently. And apart from just being multilingual and multi-ethnic, we have people in different strata of life. So when you want to deal with such people, when you want to take a decision, you must also evaluate their level of understanding. You understand? It's not everybody that reasons at the same level. Now, the situation on ground is so serious that the only thing that can help out is nothing more than negotiation. The government negotiating with the people and making them understand that they care. As much as there's a comparison between MASOB and also IPOB, we have to understand that these two groups, even though they are both agitating groups, but they have different ideology. What we've been hearing from IPOB is we just want to get out of here. And before they came to that standpoint, they had already been arguing, and they have always been like, please, we need this to be done. We have been marginalized and all of that. And sometimes when it seems that they are marginalized so much and they are crying out, one of the things that would have solved it was possibly some appointments that will go an extra mile in reducing their anger. But unfortunately, those things were not happening as expected. For me, government saying they're going to deal with Nnamdi Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu will not solve the problem. Now, as we are talking to you, Nnamdi Kanu is in prison or in DSS detention. Nnamdi Igboho has been held hostage somewhere outside the shores of Nigeria. That should be enough to stop anything like agitation. But what are we seeing today? It's even getting worse day after day. We are seeing many Nnamdi Igbohos, which means this issue of agitation or the problem on ground, they only had a lead. They only had a lead person. But actually, the whole situation was already in the hearts of the people. Nnamdi Kanu is right there in DSS. He doesn't even know what's going on, and all of the intensity of it he may know because his lawyer is feeding him with info, but he doesn't know the intensity. And guess what? He's even there, based on what the lawyer has said, telling the people that they should not go violent, but they should align with the law of the land. But what is happening outside? Nobody is listening to that. The Southeasterners are not listening to that. Oh, sorry, most of those who are agitating, IPOB members who are agitating, and some other groups which are just emanating from somewhere, none of them are listening to that. To show you that we have so many Nnamdi Igbohos, we have so many Nnamdi Kanus. And guess what? The only thing that can redefine the situation right now is for the government to sit with different stakeholders and begin to consider certain things that have been a long-term demand which the people have been presenting. Now, for example, yesterday, Ayo Adebanjo had talked about the issue of federalism. As much as we do not want Nigeria to separate, but there are certain anchor factors that this so-called one Nigeria is on. And if there are cracks on those factors, which were negotiating factors, if there are cracks in it, automatically, we need to go back to the drawing board and begin to correct those things first. And then you see that the thing will in turn strengthen the unity of the country. But if you are overlooking it and think that you are going to go overboard and try to capture this person, the country will be under intense heat for so long. And we are going to have so much casualties. I mean, so much casualties. If they notice that IPOP is not as functional as expected, new groups will begin to emerge from different areas. Still, everybody wants to say, hey, we want to break out. We want to break out. Why? Because there are certain things that have not been done right. This issue of federalism has been talked about overly. This issue of restructuring has been emphasized severally. We've also talked about this issue of marginalization in appointment. If all of those things were correct, for example, I could still remember when after appointments were given out and the Southeast were not part of it. They cried out, they were so loud about it and all of that. Because there was only one post that was remaining, and that was the post of Inspector General of Police. That was the only post that was remaining. Expectation was to kind of calm them down, to kind of let them understand that we care. If the president has given that post to an Igbo man, I know so well that what we are seeing today wouldn't have been this strong, because you will have things that you will put on their faces that even the mothers of the so-called agitators will now know that, say, but you people were saying we were marginalized. IGP is not our own person. So to some extent, everything will begin to calm down. At least it wouldn't be, even if the agitating force would not be totally eliminated, but it would have been reduced to the barest minimum. And Nigerians will be working fine. Now look at what happened in this thing, the case of, these BH guys, Boko boys. All of it is just because of abandonment. Looking at them as if whatever reason they are putting in front is not even important. When you treat people like that, automatically you're trying to bring out the worst. Never you push a man who is angry to the wall. He may react in a way that will never help you. So at this point, I plead with the federal government, please, considering the situation of things on ground, let's go into more bigger negotiations. Let's demand for those who are agitating heads in these different areas, let them come forth to maybe a particular central place like Abuja. No arrest, no nothing, but let's negotiate. What is your problem? What are your demands? What do you really want? And then on the basis of that, we can settle if we still want to further the progress of Nigeria. Here we already, this is even the tip of the iceberg, because bandits are hitting hard. Imagine, for example, in Niger State, they're talking about Shiroro and local government, about 55 communities have been taken over by bandits. And on a daily basis, you hear the scores of death, and it's like, man, what is going on? Is Nigeria almost a part of hell where people are just suffering? Or we are hearing horrible stories. Please, Presidency, please wake up and let's correct this thing. If we go it the strong way, it might not really work as we think. But if we go about it negotiating, it will really help. I like to leave it there.